Okay. Hello, how's it going? So I'm taking a walk. I may or may not be going to buy marijuana. I don't know. But I'm thinking about a video that I saw this morning, and it's not the video that gave me the idea. I already kind of knew this, but I'm thinking about it now. The idea that like most men don't know love in a true, real way, you know? And the way that they phrased it, it was such a poetic, such a prophetic sort of message, I feel like, because they were like, most people, not even just men, but most people in general don't know how to love themselves. And it's nearly impossible to give somebody what you don't have within yourself. And so if you can't love yourself, how in the fuck are you going to love somebody else in a way that is actually good for them? You know what I'm saying? Also, I don't know when this will get posted. It's currently the 24th of March. So hello, hope you're well whenever you do tune into this. Also, hopefully the wind is not an issue. It's like super windy right now, but yeah, I'm thinking about that because the last video that I recorded, I was talking about this situation that I had with somebody who was a male, obviously, and I was thinking about the way that he handled the situation versus how I handled the situation, and it is really an unfortunate truth. Like a lot of men, a lot of people don't have the capacity to like truly love in a healthy way, you know, or be loved in a healthy way. Because the situation, if I could give context, I've talked about it before. I've made several videos about it because it got me very heated, so I needed to like process the feelings. It was basically a situation where this dude, and he said it clearly to me, so it's not like I'm speculating, but he was giving me a hard time. And at some point he said, like, you know, I think you're too nice. I feel like I have to be mean to you. And at some point, there was a moment where, let me go this way. At some point, there was a moment where I didn't feel like I was getting what I wanted. He was a cashier at a place, and I didn't feel like I was getting what I was supposed to get. And I made that clear. I was like, you know, can I get another one? Like, I don't think that these are all the same sizes. Can I get something that's a little bit better? And he made it such an issue. He was like giving me such an attitude. And I don't think he really understood that he was giving me an attitude, but he was giving me an attitude. And like, I think part of why it was so upsetting is because I come in there all the time and I have such a kind aura. Like I'm always trying to be kind. I'm always trying to be pleasant. You know what I mean? In any given situation. And so whenever somebody goes out of their way to be mean to me, it really just feels like a slight of evil, because it's like, what did I do to you to make you treat me like this? You know what I mean? I understand the feelings that I inspired, but what did I physically do to you to make you want to treat me this way? You know what I'm saying? But most people don't have the critical thinking skills to ask themselves this question of like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this towards this person who did nothing towards me? You know? But anyways, yeah, I was asking for an exchange because I was like, I don't think this is adequate. Like, I'm paying my money for this. I don't want what you're giving me. And he was basically trying to tell me that they're all the same. And it's like, bitch, I've been going here. I didn't say that, but I was like, bitch, I've been going here for quite a long time. I know that they're not the same size. Like, don't, you know? And he just had such an issue with it. And like, my fault was that I got heated, was that I got out of hand. I could not contain myself because it felt like such a slap to the face, because once again, I always come in here, I have this positive energy, and I'm like, you know what I mean? And so once again, I started getting belligerent. I started saying things. I started swearing. And also, granted, there were like two girls, I think, that he was trying to impress or whatever, that were there. So that was also a factor. You know, I think he was trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do. But so it ended with him giving me a refund. I asked for a refund. I demanded a refund. He gave me a refund in cash, and then he told me to get out. He said not to come back, as if he has the authority to do that, as if my energy would warrant somebody kicking me out permanently. I've been kicked out of places before, and 9 times out of 10, it's not because of me. It's because of the policy. It's because, you know, that person is uncomfortable and they don't want to confront their uncomfortable feelings. You know, 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with me. There have been several occasions where it was literally because of what I was doing, but most of the time it's because of the other person and their inability to like just confront themselves, you know what I mean? And so yeah, he kicked me out basically verbally, and I left. And thankfully there are other options. Now, at the time when he kicked me out, there was only one other option that I was aware of, and that other option was not my ideal. Like, there was a reason why I was going to that specific store at that time. You know what I mean? Because generally, it does not seem like the quality or the quantity is like consistent. Like, that's just something I've noticed. I pay attention to detail, and I hate when people try to gaslight me. It's like, I pay attention to detail. Every once in a while, I might get something wrong. I might be a little bit off about my perception, but I pay attention to detail. You know what I mean? So if I notice something, I notice something. Point blank, period. I don't care. I don't care. And I noticed that the sizing is not consistent. And at all of these stores, but like, you know, but ideally the store that I kicked out at, like, usually it is significantly more than the other store. So when he kicked me out, I had to like start going later in the day. You know, I had to start waiting a very long time to get it. And then I started just going to the other store. I just sucked it up and I was like, you know what, I'll just go to the other store, whatever. And now some time passes and eventually I go back to the original store. And immediately, before I could even say anything, I believe, I don't think I said anything. I just walked in the store. There was already people in the store. And the first thing he said was, get out. You can't come in here, or whatever he said. And I think I tried my best to maintain my own like energy, but it really did trigger me because it's like, I know that I'm a nice person. I know that I'm a good person. I know that I don't try to cause any issues. You know what I mean? And so for him to have made such an issue out of the situation, it felt like I was powerless. You know what I'm saying? And so I did cuss him out a bit and I left, and I don't go back to the store at that time when he's around because I just don't want to have to deal with that. Like, because I could apologize, but really, from my perspective, I feel like he owes me an apology. Like, from my perspective, the way that I look at it, because it's like, I didn't do anything wrong. Sure, maybe I got a little bit reckless at the mouth, but like, I don't know, if that person had any self-aware, I think if they were able to look at themselves objectively, they would also be able to say, hey, yeah, I was a little bit out of line. I should have responded differently, you know, but I don't think they have that self-awareness. And so once again, I just do my best to avoid them. Oh, also the part that I was talking about, the difference between how I handled it, because when I walked away from the situation, like I do with most situations, I prayed about it. I genuinely like went into prayer about it. Like, I prayed for him, I prayed for understanding, I prayed for like some sort of peace. And I did that in between time when I wasn't going to that store, when I hadn't gone there, you know, during the day, because he's there during the day. And I prayed about it, and I was just like, you know, I know that I was out of line. I know that what I did was probably not the best, but, and then whatever else I don't remember what I said, but I prayed about it, and I made a video talking about it, thinking about it, like, I think it's interesting to think about how people treat us, and like how, you know, some people would never know what happens behind closed doors. Like, you would never know that I did that unless I told you, you know what I mean? Or unless, you know, for some reason you needed to know. But I don't know, like, I just think it's interesting. And part of what I feel is it was the situation was that he maybe had a crush on me and he didn't want to process those feelings, which is something I've dealt with a lot with quote unquote straight men, which is really annoying. At some point I was obsessed with this. I loved this energy, but at this point I'm too mature for this. I don't like it. But like, you know, it's a thing, and a lot of men don't have the spatial awareness to like process what they're feeling. And if you're willing to show up for them and do that, you know, that's cool and dandy, but a lot of times I don't have the energy for that. I don't care. Like, I would prefer somebody to be confident enough to like say what they want and to go after it, rather than me having to read their mind and be like, oh, you're too scared to say this, but I know that you want, like, I don't have the energy to do that. And I haven't had the energy to do that in a very long time. You know what I'm saying? But that is the thing. A lot of men want you to read their mind. You know, and it's just like, no. The fuck? What the fuck do you think this is? No. And yeah, once again, I have other options, so I am able to go to other stores, and I think the other stores actually give me a lot better options. But You know, it was really kind of bittersweet, I think, with this guy, because, and I don't know, I don't even know why I'm kidding myself, because from the moment that I witnessed him, I already kind of knew that he had a problem with me. So I don't know why. I feel like I am trying to convince myself of something, because yeah, I don't think I don't think we ever could have been friends or anything, because I think he just had a problem with me from the start. And I think that in itself is a message, like how some people are just gonna have a problem with you regardless. Like, you could do anything and everything to be pleasant, to be like a good person, but some people just will have a problem with you, and that's just that. You know what I mean? And it's not with you, it's because they have a problem with themselves, really, when you really boil it down. It's because they don't really like themselves, and they don't want to admit that. Because obviously, who wants to admit that, right? But that's usually what it is. It's because they don't want to reconcile that they don't really like where they're at, and so they'd rather just take it out on you. And that's not fair, but that is essentially what that is and how that works. So a lot of the times I do have to kind of stop myself and reel myself back in and not take things so personal, you know, because it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with like how they feel about themselves, you know. And it's unfortunate, but at the same time, one thing I've said recently, you can't allow your empathy to be stronger than your boundaries. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't allow your empathy to be stronger than your ability to self-preserve, you know? Because so many people, so many empaths get into the energy of like self-sacrifice, and it's like, sure, if you want to do that, that's your free will, but like, no. We live in a world where people will freely take what you have to give if you are offering. And if you don't put up proper boundaries, like, you will have everything taken away from you, and you'll be feeling real stupid, because why did you do that? Why didn't you put up boundaries? Why didn't you say no? Oh, because I thought it was a nice thing to do to just get... No, it's nice to protect yourself. It's self-kindness, it's self-protection, self-compassion to protect yourself. But I think that is a big lesson for a lot of people, like I've been saying, to learn how to love themselves, to learn how to honor themselves, to respect themselves, you know? And it is a journey. It is not a straight path forward, but I'm gonna end this here. I want to say thank you. I hope you appreciated this video. If you did, if you appreciate it, if you want to give back, if you want to help me out, check out the link tree down below. There's a link tree in the description if you want to get one of my books, stream my music, whatever. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day. I hope you know everything is temporary, so try to keep your head up, try to keep your spirits high. I'll see you when I see you. Deuces.